I never imagined that a quiet Thursday morning could feel like the day everything quietly shattered. My name is Ethan. I'm 39, and I've been married to Claire for 12 years. A dozen years of laughter, shared jokes, weekend routines, and countless tiny gestures that spoke of belonging. At least, that's what I believed. That morning, sunlight filtered gently through the blinds, and I could hear the familiar hum of our old coffee machine. Clara wasn't in the kitchen yet, which was normal. She often lingered in bed reading or writing before the day began. I stretched, yawned, and wandered into the living room, only to notice a crisp, white envelope resting in the center of the coffee table. My heart skipped a beat. It wasn't ordinary mail, no bills, no school letters. My name was written on it in Clara's precise, careful handwriting. Something about the lettering made my chest tighten. I picked it up, feeling the weight of the contents, my fingers trembling slightly as I opened it. Inside were divorce papers. Seeing them felt surreal. It was the kind of thing you hear about or see on screen, but never anticipate in your own quiet, routine life. The first page was typed neatly, formal, and stark, a petition for the dissolution of our marriage, effective immediately upon signing. I stared at it, my mind drifting through memories. Our first day at a tiny Italian restaurant where she laughed so hard she nearly spilled her spaghetti. A rainy camping trip where we danced under the tent to the sound of raindrops, and even the small arguments over chores, which had always seemed fixable. I sank onto the couch, clutching the papers as if they were alien objects, a challenge I hadn't been prepared to face. From upstairs, I heard Clara moving softly, humming. Panic and disbelief churned in me, but beneath it, an unexpected clarity began to emerge. Perhaps it was absurdity, or perhaps 12 years of knowing her so deeply gave me perspective. In that moment, I realized that her attempt to shock or scare me wouldn't succeed unless I let it. I examined the papers, hoping to find an error, a loophole, but there was none. They were flawless, just as Clara would have intended. Oddly, this perfection brought me calm. The storm I had feared was already here, and I had the choice of how to meet it. I picked up a pen, its metal cool against my hand. My instincts urged caution, conversation, confrontation. But I remembered all the times we avoided speaking, leaving passive-aggressive notes, letting silent days stretch on. Sometimes the boldest act isn't shouting or begging. It's moving with intention in a way no one expects. I began signing the papers deliberately, each stroke echoing in my mind. One signature, then two, each motion ritualistic. I paused before the final line, inhaled, and completed it. A mix of liberation and dread washed over me as the ink dried. I returned the papers to the table and felt my pulse slow. Clara's footsteps descended the stairs. She froze for a moment upon seeing the papers, her gaze shifting to me with disbelief. "Ethan," she whispered. I offered no reply, only a calm, small smile, neither triumphant nor cruel. The room felt suspended. 12 years of tension, silent grievances, and small resentments hung in the air like dust motes in sunlight. Her eyes flickered with something unanticipated, shock, confusion, perhaps fear. I understood then that I was no longer part of the game. I had recognized the stakes, understood her plan, and made my choice, not to win or lose, but to reclaim my agency. She spoke again, hesitant. You signed them?" I nodded, meeting her gaze steadily. Silence stretched, heavy and charged. Clara sank into the armchair, twisting her hands nervously. "I didn't think you would. I thought you'd argue, beg, maybe even yell." I let a faint smile touch my lips. That's exactly what I didn't do. All the fights, the late-night arguments, the pleading, it had never fixed anything. It only kept us trapped in a cycle. I refused to continue it. Clara's eyes glistened, a mix of guilt and raw vulnerability. "I thought this would make you notice me again," she admitted. "I wanted you to fight, to show me I mattered." I leaned back, calm but resolute. "I have noticed you. Always. But noticing isn't enough when the other person no longer feels it. I've spent years trying to fix things that weren't broken for me, only for you, or maybe for both of us." She looked down at the papers, voice trembling. "I didn't mean for it to come to this." I shook my head gently. Neither did I. But here we are. Instead of fear or anger, clarity settled over me. I understood that continuing cycles of manipulation or silent resentment would harm us both. And somehow, seeing her like this, vulnerable, human, I remembered the little details that made her the person I had married. Freckles, nervous smiles, anxious gestures. "I was trying to get your attention," she said. "I didn't expect this. I didn't expect you to just sign them." "I signed them," I said softly, "because I wanted control over my own choices. Pretending to play along doesn't make either of us happy. You wanted fear or desperation. I chose clarity." She breathed shallowly, her voice quiet. "I think I misjudged you. I didn't think you could stay calm." I nodded faintly. Courage isn't yelling. It's understanding what's right for yourself and acting on it even when emotions run high and expectations are low. The room's tension softened. Clara relaxed slightly, a fragile truce forming between us. She glanced at the papers, a small, ironic smile tugging at her lips. "I didn't think it would feel like this. I thought signing them would end you or me." "It didn't," I said. "It changed clarity. For both of us." For the first time in years, I felt grounded, aware of where I stood. Perhaps that was all we needed, a moment of true perspective, free from fear, manipulation, or expectation. Clara laughed softly, embarrassed yet relieved. "You always did surprise me," she said. "And you never thought I would," I replied. "No," she admitted. "Maybe that's the only way we could finally see each other as equals, even if just for a moment." I exhaled, feeling a weight lift from me. 12 years, countless arguments, countless compromises, distilled into one deliberate act. Signing the papers wasn't the end. It was a beginning, not necessarily together, not necessarily apart, but a beginning of clarity, truth, and honesty we hadn't experienced in years. Sometimes, love isn't about holding on. Sometimes it's about letting go, stepping forward with awareness, and seeing the world with eyes clear of fear, resentment, or expectation.